At the end of last year, Massachusetts was the first state to pass a right to repair bill. Well, what does that mean? Why is that important? Why is a channel focused on sustainability with a guy who lives in Florida even talking about this? Well, stick around and I get to all that and more. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh. Here at Save & Green, I crunch the numbers and look at the science to help you make informed decisions that help your wallet and the planet at the same time. So today we're talking about consumption, and electronics in particular, and how repairing product and extending their life cycle can have huge implications on the environmental footprint on the stuff that we buy. So back to the Massachusetts law. So this law allowed repair shops to access remote data or telematics data, like GPS or system monitoring information, so that normal people could do the repair. Now, this is important because cars, like everything else these days, is infused with proprietary software and computer systems, and not having access to this information greatly limited a driver's ability to seek a local repair shop as opposed to going to an authorized dealer. Now, obviously, the importance of being able to fix things easily and properly extends far beyond Massachusetts and far beyond just cars as well. So let's take a step back. For generations, a lot of manufacturers would pride themselves on craftsmanship, even offering lifetime warranties. Because after all, would a dishwasher from 1985 really do that much better of a job than one from 1975? Well, probably not. That's because things were built more simply. The wiring was more straightforward, and the components were more standardized. Back in the day, your dad, or your handy uncle, or local handyman could probably keep a normal home functioning for decades. Now, me personally, I can install a ceiling fan, but that's about it. But over the last 20 to 30 years, the rapid development and advancements in computer systems and chipsets, coupled with the just infusion of microcomputers in everything from toothbrushes to light bulbs to cars, have drastically limited our ability to keep our devices for any substantial period of time. This is a consequence of really a three-pronged attack on us consumers. Number one, increased complexity. Number two, designed obsolescence. And number three, reducing prices. Now, Moore's law, or the observation that computer power doubles approximately every 2 years, which is really more technically transistor capacity, has greatly accelerated this demand and feeling that we constantly need to upgrade everything that we currently own. Furthermore, the relative price of these electronics has actually decreased. Take a look at this data set from the Consumer Pricing Index, which shows that most things and most electronics have actually come down in price relatively over time. One exception, our cable bill, but that's a topic for another time. It's almost like we've reached a point where it's better to just buy a new one than try to fix it, and this has big implications for our planet. Now, yes, it is true that when it comes to some goods, like premium cell phones, for example, people are keeping their devices a little bit longer. And in fact, some of those prices have actually gone up. But it's also because people are realizing that they don't really need to upgrade every year, because the basal level of functionality really isn't changing that much. And furthermore, while iPhones, for example, are a little bit more expensive than their Android counterparts most of the time, their durability and longevity is also a little bit higher by a few months, according to research from Engadget. But in general, with an average turnover for the typical cell phone every 2 to 3 years, we could probably still do better. Another YouTube channel, OCC or Our Changing Climate, has an excellent discussion on designed obsolescence, including its history dating back to the early 20th century, where a light bulb cartel formed by GE, Tungsgrum, Philips, and Osram, called Phoebus, actually conspired to ensure that light bulb filaments would burn out after a certain number of hours so that people would have to buy new ones. I'll link to that one up here. Now today, that tradition continues, since manufacturers, particularly in electronics, have realized that to keep profits high with smaller margins, they just need you to buy more stuff. So they're constantly selling you the newest and the greatest, even though it may not be needed. Additionally, all-in-one designs with glue, weather and sealed insulated components, or soldered chipsets have all made repairability that much more complicated. Now, this has forced people to just trade in their old or defective devices, where even a small individual component is probably the only reason to upgrade. or have to ship their device to some remote center to get it fixed because a local repair shop either can't do it, isn't authorized to do so, or it's just too expensive. And that's why the EU is proposing a slew of new legislative measures to protect consumers and punish manufacturers who fail to include appropriate information on repairability and sustainable practices. Now, in fact, this culture of constant replacement is so embedded in global society that there's an estimated 9.3 million tons of electronic waste in the US alone, and up to 55.6 million tons worldwide just in 2019. And some people claim that that figure can increase by 5 to 10% every year. So what's the environmental impact of all this electronic waste? Well, the problem is huge, the problem is widespread, and the problem is growing. The EPA has some excellent peer-reviewed and evidence-based resource through a partnership with MIT that looks at the global supply chain for electronics manufacturing and recycling. In fact, electronic waste is the largest component of material waste worldwide and has its own complex international market all its own. Of that e-waste, cell phones is the largest contributor. And I'll link to 2 studies from 2013 and 2016 below for more information on that. Now, what this research shows is that this is a multinational industry. The basic harvesting of raw materials like aluminum, cobalt, platinum, lithium, etc. are mostly done in developing countries. And a lot of these have labor laws and environmental regulations that aren't that transparent. For information on aluminum, for example, and bauxite waste, I will link to my previous video on aluminum can manufacturing for more information. Now from there, these raw materials are sent somewhere else, where individual components are put together, like computer chips or cellular radios, batteries, or LCD screens. And then from there, they're sent yet again somewhere else, where they're put together in their final form, then sent to distribution centers, then sent to your local warehouse or your front door for mail order delivery. Now at the end of a product's life, it's the developing world yet again who often accepts these discarded materials to try to harvest some useful raw materials from them yet again. And this is a big business in and of itself. By some estimates, raw materials from e-waste can be worth up to $60 billion. In fact, 1 ton of e-waste could contain up to 200 grams of gold, which by today's prices at about $1,700 an ounce could be worth over $12,000. Unfortunately, reclaiming this material is often very hazardous, very labor-intensive, and requires exposure to a lot of toxic chemicals. And that's why exporting this e-waste has a lot of ethical and socioeconomic implications that keep regulators quite busy. If you want to learn more about this, there are some other great YouTube videos, and I'll link to some of those down below. Now, with billions of cell phones produced every year, not to mention all the other electronics from cameras to computers and printers and everything else, what can we do to cut back on our e-waste and be a little bit more sustainable or conscientious about our purchasing habits? Well, for one, if you're in the market for a new device or a new cell phone, I have a few steps that could help you. Step 1, take stock of your true need. Think about what your current device is doing. Is it serving you adequately? Do you really need to upgrade? After all, if you don't have to buy something new, that's the best way to save money. A penny saved is a penny saved is a penny earned, as Ben Franklin says. Number 2, look into repair or upgrade options first. See if you can fix your device. See how much it'll be. Weigh those costs. If not, look at repairability before you make your purchase. iFixit is a very helpful online resource that looks at repairability scores for a wide range of consumer products. And with programs like Right to Repair gaining traction both here and abroad, there's a good chance you'll be able to fix your device for much less than you would before. Step 3, explore the used market. Check out Facebook Marketplace, eBay, OfferUp, etc., some of which may offer some sort of buyer protection or even a 30-day money-back guarantee. Also, see what price you can get for your old stuff. It's often more than you think and could save your old phone from some landfill in Ghana. And also, don't be afraid of refurbished, especially manufacturer refurbished. I've purchased tons of devices, including 2 iPhones and an iPad, as refurbished products that have lasted me years. Furthermore, once I buy it, I can sell it yet again, and this process has saved me thousands of dollars over the years. Step 4, if you're going to buy something new, dispose of your old stuff properly if you can't sell it. You can check your local city or municipal waste site to see where their drop-off location might be, or often retailers like Best Buy or Staples may have drop-off sites. You can also search online for resources like eStewards, which has their own drop-off locations for ethical electronics recycling. Or check out Eco ATM, which has local drop-off sites and will pay you upfront for your used electronics. Step 5, read the warranty fine print. If you break your screen every 6 months, then maybe something like AppleCare could actually be worthwhile. However, most consumer advocacy groups do not recommend buying extended warranties or service plans, as they're often just too expensive for what you get. Now, also when it comes to warranty, check your credit card, because some, like Amex, will extend your manufacturer's warranty for another year. Costco also offers this on many products. And step 6, avoid subscription services, especially for cell phones. There's really no reason to upgrade every year, and such programs are expensive and wasteful. I'll explore this a little bit further in another video. While it's often difficult to do the right thing when it comes to electronics, if you keep an eye towards brands that emphasize sustainability and serviceability, can greatly simplify your decision making. Check out my unboxing of the Teracube 2E, the only phone with a 4-year warranty that's completely DIY repairable with using only screws, and it comes with a biodegradable case. Another product by another company called Fairphone, which actually was the only phone to score a perfect 10 on iFixit, is another excellent option. Greenpeace also offers brand scorecards, so you can directly compare how Samsung, LG, and Apple are doing on the sustainability front. Now, I do believe that if consumers prioritize sustainability and serviceability on their products and electronics, that the market will take care of itself. And that's why companies like Teracube and Fairphone and the Right to Repair movement are so critical to transitioning our culture of consumption to something more sustainable and more sensible. Thanks so much for your time. If you found this video helpful, if you learned something, consider hitting the like button or subscribing. It means a lot to help the channel grow. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Okay, so we have a random drawing, 17 contestants. Let's see who wins. Generating, and number 3. All right, congratulations. Number 3, you will be contacted to get the Teracube.